Good evening, and I call this meeting to order. This is Lincoln County Board of Education, meeting for a special call meeting to conduct an employee personnel hearing. Today is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. and we're at the central office in Hamlin. The purpose of this meeting, as I said, is conduct an employee personnel hearing for reduction in force and transfers. This meeting is being live streamed, and a video copy of the meeting will be on the board's website within 5 working days. At this time, I'll ask Board Member Cartwright to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Takes us to agenda item 2, roll call, and as you see, we have Board Member Cartwright present, myself, and Mr. Mosteller is on the phone. Do we have any other phone in? No. So that's the roll call. Takes us to agenda item 3, and I first need to ask, would you like for this hearing to be open or closed?
It can be open.
All right. So, open
Sean,
hearing.
would you close that door? Thank you.
All right, so.
Oh, wait.
Come on.
Baby cracker.
You don't.
Yeah.
Thank you. So just to let you know, the hearings are, we typically try to keep them within 25 to 30 minutes to make it consistent. We ask that the employee or their representative, if they plan to call any witnesses, and the same for the administration. So I'll first ask the administration, are you going to have any witnesses?
Yes, Tina Atkins will be a witness.
Okay, and are you representing yourself? Or
I am representing myself.
Do you have any witnesses?
I do not.
So you'll be witnessing for yourself?
Yes.
So can we go ahead and swear in both of the witnesses?
Just raise your right hand.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay, so typically I'll ask the employee's representative if they ask for a hearing because they believe there was a procedural mistake in the process or for any other reason.
I guess a mistake in this. I just feel like we have numbers and it was done incorrectly.
So would the administration like to make an opening statement?
Yes, I would. Basically, Ms. Spence is a valuable employee. She will have a job next year. Obviously, these things are just numbers-based. They have nothing to do with employee job performance or anything like that. We're all glad that she has a job waiting for her with us this coming year. However, she's a preschool teacher, and the way our laws are set up in West Virginia, this is just basic numbers. If you do not have the numbers by this time of year, then you have to cut the position, because otherwise, if you don't cut it within the timeframes in West Virginia code, then we could end up next year with a classroom with no kids and a teacher to pay. So that's why this happens. It happens in every school district in the state every single year, multiple times with pre-K. We used to say, 30 years ago when I started doing personnel law, we always said we have to wait till we see the whites of their little eyes in the seats. And that's really still true for pre-K, because too many people move and they come in, and that you have foster children and different things that play into those numbers. So until your numbers are confirmed, which does not usually occur till later in the year, then you have to cut the positions. Now, if the numbers show up, then you rescind the action, and the employee can go back to her spot. But right now, the numbers don't allow us to keep the extra teacher.
And I'll ask for your opening statement, but just to back up real quick, agenda item 2 is roll call. We had Board Member Burns just join us, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I understand everything that they say. I've been through this multiple times, and so has my coworkers. It's just that we do have a registration. We do have numbers stating that we should have, and I know that's the should, but it's like that in every grade, that we have numbers coming in that we can count, showing that 3 rooms is what we need for preschool next year. I know that we've had 4, so I'm not even pushing for that 4th. I'm just stating that we at least need 3. And this isn't just for me. I know I have a job next year, and I love my job. I'm passionate about it. I believe that wherever I'm put, I will do great for the kids. I'm advocating today for West Hamlin. I'm advocating for those kids because I know that 2 rooms at West Hamlin is a significant drop, and there will be kids there that need that extra support.
Administration, would you like to call your first witness?
Yes, if I could call Miss Atkins, please.
In your packet that everybody got, you should have a document that looks like this. It'll just help you kind of follow along with what I'm saying. So, every year, the state requires us to, give them the numbers of our enrollment, the second month of the year, they do, the second month data. And in October of '25, we had a total of 2,638 students countywide. Our current enrollment as of this morning was 2,590 students. That means we've lost 48 students since October 1st. So monetarily, if we're saying we get about $7,000 per student, that would be $336,000, or another 2 teachers. If you're saying there are 25 students in a classroom or 20 students in a classroom, that would be another 2 teachers that is not allocated in the numbers that I'm getting ready to talk about.
We have them, but we don't have them placed yet, right?
The teachers?
Uh-huh.
No, the teachers are already placed.
Oh, they're already placed, so we
Yes.
already have them?
Yes.
Okay.
So according to the state aid formula, we have 30 more professional positions than we should, based on our enrollment numbers. And they're saying we have 68 service personnel more than we should, based on the state aid formula. That means we are 98 professional personnel over formula. That's a total of $5 million that the county must come up with to fund those positions. We're requesting this year during this personnel season that the board cut 24 professional positions. 6 of those positions are vacant positions that are currently held by long-term substitute teachers that are not fully certified in the position that they're holding. 17 positions are service positions that we need to cut as well. That would save $2,325,000. As she stated before, code only allows us to cut positions for the next year at one time, and that's this time of the year. We must cut those positions
Is there a date on that?
by May 1st.
By May 1st?
By May 1st, we have to have made the cuts for the next year.
Okay.
Just something to throw out there, the Department of Ed has taken over several counties recently because they are over personnel formula. For example, Hancock County was 140 personnel over, and they took them over because they weren't making the cuts that were needed. And we are 98 staff members over formula.
And we are 98 staff members?
Yes.
Does that include teachers and service
Teachers
personnel?
and service, yes,
Okay.
98 total.
Do you know how many teachers that would be?
That, we are 30 teachers over
And how many service personnel?
and 68 service.
Okay.
And if you go to the next page, we're talking about the preschool positions at West Hamlin. The current number of preschool classrooms that we have is 4. The current number of students, according to Weavis, as of this morning, is 57. In your packet, you'll have labeled A in your packet. This is a copy of the rosters for each classroom at West Hamlin as they're listed in Weavis. The current enrollment that is allowed for those 4 total classrooms is 71 students. One of those classes can hold 20, and the other 3 classrooms can hold 17 each. So looking at the numbers that we have 57 students now. Those 4 classes could hold 71. So in essence, we could have had 3 classrooms instead of 4 if we had sent some of the overages to the Duval location, which is under the number of children that they are allotted.
But do you have a fuss about that with the families on sending them from West Hamlin to?
Not always.
Not always.
In the past, anytime like Hamlin students have gone to either Duval or West Hamlin if they needed to. Duval students have come to Hamlin if they needed to. We provide transportation for them if that is
You all
something
think
that
you're
has to
still gonna
happen.
have to do some of that before school starts?
Yes, sometimes we do that before school starts,
Okay.
yes.
You think you will this year?
It depends on the situation, whether or not we end up with the numbers that we think we might get at
Okay.
Hamlin.
Okay.
For the 26-27 school year, for the next school year, we have had registrations already. And based on the registration numbers that Dion Lucas gave me, and that is section B in your packet. This is a list of the enrollments that she says she got during enrollment season. She says that West Hamlin has 32 4-year-olds that enrolled with 1 possible retention. Duval had 30 enrolled, no retentions. Hamlin had 42 to enroll with 0 retentions. And Hearts had 26 with no retentions.
Now, what about those numbers that are at the bottom that have been,
That's what I'm getting ready to go over.
Okay,
So
cross
those
out.
are incoming birth to 3 students.
uh-huh,
So, birth to 3 lets us know if there are students that may need speech or developmental delay services with our preschools. And the numbers that she originally gave me, and that's in your B packet, there's a list of students there. So if you look at the list of students, she's got it listed by school, and you'll notice that there are 4 students that are highlighted. Those are students that are not 3-year-olds. We got in there and we were looking at them and we pulled up their birth dates, and those are actually 4 or 5-year-olds, so those are not considered in those numbers, so that's why those numbers are different. Ms. Lucas did come to me this afternoon and she gave me the name of another child, but when I contacted Angie Ramey, she said that that child is also a 4-year-old. It would not be included in that 3-year-old data, so I did not include that child.
now, would you all be able to count that child though, as of now, that will be going?
If that child did not enroll during preschool enrollment,
Uh-huh.
she actually told me she thought that the child was a foster child and that the child may no longer be in our county.
Okay, so that would, but they're gonna try to look and find out
Yes, she's
and let you
fine,
know.
she's gonna find out for us,
Okay.
yes. So, as of right now, we can't count those students that we don't know for sure whether or not they are coming. But I did have a conversation with Angie Ramey about some of the students. She also told me that one of the students on the Hearts list, the one that's handwritten, she told me that she knows that that student will not be coming because they have siblings that get outside therapies, and that child is not going to be taking the preschool services with us. So we are looking into the situations, trying to find out where these kids are and whether or not they are actually gonna take the preschool services. So right now, it looks like we have 10 incoming birth to 3 at West Hamlin. That's if those parents do choose those services.
Oh, that's West Hamlin, you
At
have
West
10?
Hamlin. There's 1 at Duval, and there's 2 coming in at Hamlin, and possibly 5 at Hearts.
Okay.
Now, another thing is when they have their transition meetings, there's a meeting that they have between birth to 3 and coming into the school system. And the parents can decide that they do want to transition to the school system or that they don't want to do that. That's totally up to the parent.
Now, will that, if the parents decide not to let them come in at that time, will they, next year, will they have to let them go into a place or a period of time that they'll be with other kids, but not the kids that they were originally supposed to go in with?
Well, they'll still enroll, but this just lets them come to school a year early.
Okay.
The birth to 3 does.
Okay,
So they would come as 3-year-olds instead of waiting till they're 4 to come.
okay,
So if they decide not to come as 3-year-olds, they would just come as a 4-year-old
Okay.
the following year. Then also, we are required to hold spots at any school in the county for birth to 3 students that qualify for developmental delay or speech services. We have tossed around the idea of a 3-year-old only class. Cabell County has a 3-year-old only preschool class, so we've kind of, we've been talking with Ms. Lucas about that as a possibility as well.
How many people do you look, if you do decide to have that class?
If we did that, then we could possibly put the West Hamlin, Duval, and Hamlin's 3-year-olds all in one location.
Okay, and you wouldn't have to divide them up and send some to
Right.
different places?
Exactly, we
Okay.
could do that. Or we could just do all the West Hamlin and Hamlin's together at a location or something like that.
You think you could get all of West Hamlin and Hamlin together at
Well,
one location?
there's 10 birth to 3s at West Hamlin and 2 for Hamlin, so that's only 12 kids.
Yeah.
And then the 1 for Duval, so that will only be 13 kids at one location.
So do you think you could get all of them either here and at Hamlin together, but all the kids that need to have a space?
We possibly could, because
Okay.
most of the time, anytime we have overages, the Hamlin students have been going to West Hamlin anyway.
Okay,
And we haven't had any problem with.
so you think
parents
you'll be
being
okay
to
on
do
that?
Yeah.
Unless we have a huge amount that comes like the first week. when
Right.
Kids start.
Right,
Okay, but you don't see any real big problem in doing that?
no.
Okay.
If you go down to the very bottom there, it gives information about students with IEPs. Currently, the current 3-year-olds that they have at West Hamlin, there are 11 currently enrolled as 3-year-olds. They will be 4-year-olds next year and enrolled in the program that have IEPs. 5 of them have speech-only IEPs according to WEBUS, and 6 of them are developmental delay IEPs according to WEBUS. State Board Policy 2410 requires that no more than 10 students with IEPs in each pre-K classroom. So we would
Now,
still.
we're not talking about per class, we're talking about, like, let's say there's 2 classes in there mixed together, you could still have those.
We wouldn't mix the 2 classes
You
together.
wouldn't mix it?
No.
Okay.
There would be 10 in this class and 10 in this
Okay.
class. You could have 10 in each.
Well, would the state let you have a class that had 10, and then another class that would have like 5 to 7 in it?
Yes.
Okay, so we'd be okay on that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you go to the next page, this is our reasoning for eliminating the position and some other considerations. Currently, the only for sure numbers that we have are the 4-year-old enrollments, since we don't have confirmation yet from all of the 3-year-old parents, and we have not completed all of their transition services yet.
Will you do that before school starts?
We will do that before school starts.
And so you'll report back to the board about how many they were in each group, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes. So right now, there's a total of 33 4-year-olds that are set to be enrolled at West Hamlin. That means they're not over as far as that goes. We can put the 3-year-olds in later if we get confirmation that they are actually going to be coming, their parents agree to transition
Now, will you all have to
services.
contact the parents, or the parents have to contact us?
We contact them.
Okay,
Or the special education department
Okay.
contacts them and sets up the
because that would be better to
evaluations.
make sure,
Yes.
from us, than it would be to, wait for them to do it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we contact them. In previous years, including this school year, if a school has more pre-K students enrolled than spots available, we offer them a spot at a neighboring school and we provide them transportation. So for example, there are 2 students, preschool students, that are going to the Duval location because Hamlin was over. We provide transportation for them. And in the past, we have had Hamlin students also attend West Hamlin Elementary, and we provide transportation for them to that location if needed. There are current spots available at neighboring schools. Duval Pre-K 8 would have 9 open spots, and Harts Pre-K 8 has 9 open spots as well. Ms. Spence has the Moore County seniority than another employee, so right now she would be transferred to another preschool location in the county,
and she would take that overage?
where she would take that position.
That's what I mean,
Yes.
the position that we would have to go, of kids to go to her, right?
No, she would be transferred to another school.
Oh, okay, so she wouldn't be
Because-
staying where
Right,
she
because we
is.
want to cut 2 of the preschool positions at West Hamlin.
Okay,
So she has more seniority, so she's going to bump another teacher out of their spot because she's more senior than them.
okay.
We do have the ability, if for some reason our numbers change, once the transition services are completed, once the principals put all of the students in WEBUS in July 1st, they're going to put all of them in. We make contact with all of the parents to ensure that they are still planning on sending their children to school with us.
And they still live with it, where they
That
said
they
they
still
did.
live within the county.
Are they gonna do home visits, or just give them a call?
They normally do home visits.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And another thing is, within these numbers of the 4-year-olds, Ms. Lucas told me that some of these people are out-of-county children that have not yet completed their transfer paperwork, and the board has not approved their transfers to our county yet.
Somebody needs
So
to
we-
talk to them.
So we really can't say that these are for sure numbers if we don't have their transfer paperwork yet, if we don't have the transition services completed yet. And like I said, those things will be completed by July 1.
And you're gonna try to get somebody to personally talk to them and tell them to get that done and get that paperwork done?
Yes, yes,
Good.
we have somebody that's working on
Because
it.
I hate to lose kids, and then the
Right.
school year's starting, we're in the middle of not having any place for anybody.
Right, exactly. So our plan is by July 1st, principals are gonna put the students in Weavis.
Uh-huh.
That way we see
You'll know who's-
exactly who
who's
they
where.
are, who's coming. We're gonna, contact all of them, including the 3-year-old parents, to make sure that they are going to attend at the location that they chose. We're gonna check, transfers to make sure that we have transfer paperwork for everybody that said that they were wanting to come. And double check to make sure we have IEPs in place and that we will have the necessary services at each location.
Now, let me ask you this while we're on it, of the numbers. Let's say we have 16 kids at West Hamlin, and we have one class that has 10 or 12 in it, and then we have like, maybe a few more that would be in a class by themselves. Would we have to hire another aide or a teacher's aide to be with that teacher in that smaller class?
I believe that, is it 10?
It's 10. If it's under 10, they don't have to hire another.
If it's
aide.
under 10, we don't have to hire.
No.
But if it goes over 10 or above, we have to hire.
But it might be different with 3-year-olds, so you may need to
Right.
check, because they're a
Okay,
different
yeah, we probably
category.
need to check that to make sure we
Right.
know what we're doing.
But if for some reason these numbers change and we find out that we are going to have an overage before August 1st, state code allows us to rescind this, the cut of her position.
Okay.
Which means, I would give her, a call, I would send her an email or a letter in writing and say, do you want to take your position back?
Yeah,
And she has 5 days to tell me, yes, I want my position back, or no, I don't.
okay, so you'll get in touch with her either way?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then, for example, if for some reason Ms. Spence decides, if we cut the position and we decide we need it back, and I contact her and say, do you want your position back? And she, for some reason, says, I've decided I want to stay where I'm at and not take this position back. We do have 2 preschool teachers that will be on preferred recall that will be waiting for spots.
And so it's
So-
gonna probably all work out, but you have to go
Right.
through all those particular steps to
Right.
make sure that you do it by the law.
Right, because we can only cut at this time.
Yes,
If for some reason we choose not, the board chooses not to cut the position right now,
Uh-huh.
and then come
fall.
July or August, and then we didn't need the position, we have to continue with the position for
Yeah.
the rest of the year.
Yeah,
So we are asking that the board cut 2 positions at West Hamlin at this time until we can get some more definitive numbers.
could you give all of us a sheet of paper on basically what you've talked about?
Yeah, it should be in your
It's in your
packet.
Okay, I hadn't had time to look at in there.
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
in your packet. And also in your packet is a copy of the state code that looks like this.
Mhm.
I highlighted the section that states that if the reason for cutting the position no longer exists by August 1st, they can rescind the cut, and so she can go back to her position, so there.
Okay, so
Yes.
the teacher.
Yes, the teacher can go back to her position. So I wanted to ensure that everybody knew that that
Yeah.
is, part of state code, and we do have to follow that.
All right.
And that's all that I have.
I just have one question for
Yes.
clarification
Yes.
purposes. You said that there's currently 4 rooms at West Hamlin. You've got 317 and 120 potential. I know that that's not how many
Yes.
students there are, but
Right.
there's only 120 classroom.
Yes,
Available.
according to footage, yes.
Yeah, and then the other 3 are 17.
Yes.
So if, and I know this is an if, that they had the 43, then that automatically would make room. There's not,
Or
you
somebody
can't,
Right.
you can't have 43 in 2
Right.
rooms.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
Yes.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness?
On some of the things, yes, and talk about what I have. I know that one of the main, I'm sorry.
Just 1 second, sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine.
You can cross-examine, then I'll give you an opportunity
Okay.
to talk about it.
Okay, so the main reason we're here is because we are eliminating professionals and service personnel because our numbers don't meet, correct? So if you're adding a 3-year-old classroom in, you're still having to have another employee,
Yeah, another teacher.
another teacher. You're not getting rid of
In
a actual, personnel or professional, because you would have to have a teacher there. And then so if I would just say me, I would go to Hamlin, you're still gonna have to bring somebody back to do that 3-year-old classroom, correct?
You'd have to have that classroom
We would
bid
have to
on
post
though.
the position.
Yeah, you have to post it and bid on it.
We would
wouldn't you?
have to post that as a separate position. If we're
Yes.
gonna make it a 3-year-old only class.
Right.
We would have to post it as a position.
Correct.
If it's a 3 and 4 year class, would you still have to
We
post
would
it?
not. If we had
Okay.
if we decided to have a 3-4 combined like it
You
currently
wouldn't have to
is,
post that.
she would automatically resend back to that position.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, I know we're trying to cut money back and budgets and people, so that's why the only reason I mentioned that is because really it's not you're still putting a person back in a position for a job.
Right, but that's if we get these numbers. And
Okay.
we're, like I said, we're still not sure if these are gonna be the numbers we're gonna
On the
have.
first few days of school, are some of you all gonna be at some of these real tight classrooms to see who shows up? Extra people might show up and they need to be, put in as, coming to that school.
Well, we normally wanna make sure, especially in preschool, that we have those teachers in place before school starts.
Yeah,
But, at the beginning of every school year, we do have,
people there that will see.
right, and we have the principals send, each classroom and how many students are there.
Good,
And we keep tabs on that to make sure that we have everything covered.
that's a good idea.
Do you have any other questions for the
No, I
witness?
think I'm good.
Would the administration like to redirect?
No, thank you.
All right.
Thank you all very much for kind of clearing that up for us.
Do you have any other witnesses?
I do not.
Okay. Ms. Spence?
Thank you all. I also had a packet that I gave you. And our numbers are kind of the same as her, when you look at her page B to my top. There's a couple different, but at the end, at the bottom, if you see, mine says 44, hers says 43. So we'll just go with hers, 43, because honestly, if we get over the, we need 38 kids. So if we get over 38, it really doesn't matter at this point, we still need that room. I know that these 10 birth to 3 children here, are ifs, they say, but we honestly have some of them already enrolled this year because they're 3 this year and they'll be 3 again next year. So they have 2 3-year-old rooms, then they have their 4th year. These kids, again, the reason they are 3-year-olds is because they have an IEP. They have came out of birth to 3. They have a developmental or a speech delay that they need help with. We work really close with birth to 3 to try to get these kids in. If they have birth to 3 and we know about them, most likely they're going to come into school because they're not going to want to lose what they have gained in that 3 years that they have. I have not seen any myself that have denied services, that have been eligible and have denied those services come in. So, to me, I see that 43 because I know, and these are all children that are going to be eligible when school begins in the fall, that will need these services. Again, preschool is different. I know we're always the ones that get cut, and I understand that. But again, we're little, we're so small. We need so much more than some other grades do. And I don't mean to cry because it's just, I'm very passionate.
Yeah, they're just so
Very
little.
passionate about these kids. And, putting 20 kids in a classroom, and I get that's nobody's, you all can't say, but square footage, if you've ever been with 3 or 4-year-olds and have to teach them,
Takes
for
a little
20
bit of room.
kids is a lot. And when you have special needs kids on top of that, it's a lot, and these kids are going to get left behind because they're not going to get the nurturing that they need, the love that they need, the understanding, and be able to get that support. And again, I'm not crying, I'm sorry. And I'm not fighting, I am fighting for my job there because I love it, but I'm fighting for these babies because they deserve it. They deserve not to be in a room with 19 other kids. That, again, and I didn't cross them, but I will say, you can only have 50% special ed in a classroom. So yes, the 20, you can have 10, but in the 17, you cannot.
Yeah.
You can only have the 8, right? So, in there. So you cannot have 10 and 10, special ed is either. And on top of that with special needs is, we're all inclusive. Our kids don't leave us. They may leave for 30 minutes for speech to get outside speech, but as far as getting services, as far as special ed goes, I give them that service. I'm the one servicing them. If we have children that need more one-on-one, we only have one special needs aide for all
All of that.
all of those classes at West Hamlin. So if we would have like four, we have four this year, and we have, I don't even know how many special ed kids we have, but we only have one special needs aide. I mean, all of them. Yes, we have co-teachers that are at aide as well, but they help do the everyday duties with us. They're not a special needs aide. So next year, if there's only 2 rooms, and I have on here, and she did too, the IEPs, how many we're gonna have. We have 3 kids, that'll be a 4 that will have IEPs. And let's just say the 10 instead of 12, because I had 12 3-year-olds. That's 13 kids with an IEP in preschool next year. There's
That's a
no
lot.
way you can put them in 2 rooms.
You're right.
That's a lot on one person. And that's a lot on the other kids, let's say, that doesn't have special needs, or even any of them, because that one-on-one is so important at this age. You have children coming in that have never been away from their parents. You have children that are, and especially 3-year-olds, that are not potty trained. You're doing toiletry for them. And as a 3-year-old teacher, if we keep it as that, which it's whatever's best for the kids in this part, I'm good with the 3-year-old classroom, honestly, if that's what will be best for the children, whatever we need. We just never discussed that before, so I didn't know that was an option. That we can, I have to service those 3-year-olds. So every 3-year-old in the county has to have 90 minutes of developmental services a month. So let's say I have 4 3-year-olds in my classroom. I have 4 days a week, so I'd probably bring 1 in each day. So they wouldn't be there at the same time because I have to be one-on-one with them. So for at least 10 or 15 minutes out of that day that they're there to get their services met, I have to be one-on-one with them. I cannot I maybe can bring some other kids into a center with us, like if they want to come and play. My focus to get my minutes in has to be on that one kid. So my aide and my co-teacher has to do everything else in that room while I'm focused on that one child. Now, you put this into 2 rooms, and you're probably going to have 2 or 3 3-year-olds at a time in a room. And then one of those classrooms also doesn't have a special needs aide. Only one classroom will have a special needs aide. And they're having to deal with that with just one other co-teacher. And the classroom I'm in now, which is the 20, so whoever's in that classroom with that's the only one that has a restroom in it. The other preschool rooms don't even have a restroom.
What
So
do
they
kids do, go to the ones that
In
have
the-
the restroom?
and they have to go to the hallway. So we have to
Okay.
pull them out, and they have to take them to the restroom.
Yes.
So that's another, having to go back and forth. And if you have a 3-year-old in there, you can't leave. You've got to try to call the special needs aide from another classroom to come and help. It's just,
You just pull it all the time.
I just want you all to see the importance of how these little kids, I don't want them to get left
Right.
behind.
Right.
Honestly, everybody that I've worked with in in early education has been phenomenal. And we are a really good program at West Hamlin. And I know that you all don't say that we're not. I'm not saying that at all. And I know that it's nothing against me. It's just numbers again. But I'm very fearful that we keep dropping. We're just going to keep raising those classroom sizes. And they're not going to get what they've always got from us. Is just the nurturing and the support and what we give them daily. And there's a lot more in here, but I feel like I've pretty much told you how I feel and what you need to know.
It's hard to decide on, do you let some of them, stay there because they are maybe a little bit brighter and they can do things independently? Or, do you make it equal to everybody in that particular class area? It's a
Yes.
hard decision, and it just pulls the strings of your heart out when you can't get everybody, what they need.
Correct. I know that down here too, I didn't talk, but she talked a little bit. Hamlin is over by 8 kids. There's no way they have 8 children.
How many do they have out of Hamlin? Do you know right off?
I think it's 42.
42,
And-
and how many classes?
2.
Ooh.
So they've been bringing them here to the board
Uh-huh.
to Duval, but Duval will be going back over now. So that's 8 more kids that will probably be transferred to West Hamlin. But we've done it in the past. West Hamlin, they have had to transfer children over. So, I mean, if you add those, we have 3, which we can't count them. They're not eyes, they're not people that's already there registered. But we do have 3 other kids that we know in the county that still need to register, that say they are. We just can't get to them.
They haven't come in yet?
They haven't came in yet, but we have talked to them over the phone. They have not actually filled up paperwork. So no, we can't count them, but those are 3 more possible. So
You think
the
that
8
they
and
will
3
eventually come in
are
and
11.
sign and
I
give
do.
us-
I talked to them Friday. I called and they did say that they were planning on registering.
Yeah.
I know one does not have transportation, so we do have to go out and do a home visit and get
Yeah.
hers.
Yeah.
So that's, 11 more, and I didn't put those as the main 44 because those are more up in the air. But they're still, I mean, if we had all of those are 55 kids, and we have 57 this year at West Hamlin, so,
And that's 55 if you get all of them.
yeah.
Well, really and truly, we
Would
need
the
to think about,
Administration like to cross-examine?
the young ones.
No, I don't need to cross-examine.
Can I make a
It's just
statement?
important to get those young kids
We'll make a
at that
closing
age,
statement.
to get to be in class and not stay
If Miss,
home.
if you're done, I have a few questions. I think I'll apologize in advance, I've got a few questions, but I think it's poor form to interrupt you all every 10 seconds. It's not appropriate and shouldn't have been done tonight. The pre-K deadline for registration, when is that? Just for my clarification. What's
We
the
normally
date?
let them register up until,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and then if this position is cut, and then we have the numbers to maintain the 3rd classroom, Ms. Spence would get,
She
First
has
call,
preferences.
correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
that's state code
And
says that.
we have how many kids coming? Hamlin kids are going to Duval,
Hamlin kids have been going to Duval, yes.
which are coming here to Hamlin.
Yes.
I wanted to clarify that for anyone listening.
But no,
It's
in the
not like-
past, they have gone to the
Duval.
Griffithsville location.
They've
in the past
gone
as
to the
well.
Griffithsville
They
location in
have
the
gone there,
past?
and they have also gone to West Hamlin.
Okay.
Okay,
So it just depends on the parent and what the parent wants to do.
And how many there are at each area that need to go to whichever area they need to go to?
Right.
Okay.
all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
So if there's no cross-examine, administration can make their closing statement.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, then I'll allow Ms. Atkins to. The only thing I need to make sure that the board considers and understands is these decisions are based on what you have right now. They're not based on what might happen in June or might happen in July. It's very likely that this room will go back and she will go right back to her job. But personnel is required to make those decisions based on what you have in front of you right now. And I'm gonna let Ms. Atkins say her closing remarks, then we'll be done on our side.
I just want to say that we had the same situation happen last year. We were going to cut 2 preschool positions, and Ms. Spence ended up back in her position in May because we ended up getting the numbers that we needed, and the other preschool teacher was back in her position by June. So it's not that we don't think that it's going to happen. We just have to make this decision now based on what we have, because if for some reason these students don't, or these parents change their mind, when we contact them in July and they're not there, we have to have made this decision already by May 1st, because state code says we have to.
Spence, do you have a closing statement?
Yes, again, I completely understand why everything was done the way it was. I've been at West Hamlin for 5 years. Every year I have gotten a letter, so I know how that works. I just wanted to come, and I just feel like somebody has to advocate for these babies, so that's why I was here. I just want to, and again, I pray that it happens before it's before the school year starts, because that's my biggest fear. Is school year will start, I can't move. Who knows who will be in the classroom at that point? And we just want these little kids to have the best that they can have, and for them to love it, and for parents to be, because we have a lot of parent involvement in preschool, and it's just a thing that we strive on. And I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that these large class sizes are just too much for these little kids, and that I think it would be very, very hurtful, to them for us to close a 3rd classroom, one of our, classrooms at West Hamlin. But again, nothing against anyone. I just wanted to, like I said, advocate for these kids and try my best to have everybody understand what I feel, and that I feel like these numbers are already there and that the room shouldn't be closed.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That's it, that concludes this hearing, and we will move to agenda item 4, which is adjourned until Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, at 6 p.m. at the central office.
So moved.
Mr. Cartwright makes the motion. Second by Mrs. Burns. Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Cartwright?
Yay.
Mr. Mosteller?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson is a yay. That carries 4-0, and the time is 6:41.